So as far as getting a job as a master model builder, the most common way that people have gotten the job has been starting in another area of the park. So for example, the people operating the rides, people working in the stores, and then either they get to help us with a big project and we see their talent, and if we have an opening, we may offer it to them, or if we have a position open up, we'll allow people to apply for it. We'll put them through a series of build tests to see how well their building skills are, and then go from there.
And how long have you been doing this?
This past month was 6 years.
Now, for the models out there, like something like that, do you like using any glue to keep it from falling apart?
We do use a glue in the non-general sense, because essentially what we're doing is we're melting the Lego together. So in other words, we're turning multiple pieces of Lego into one piece of Lego. So this Cobra here, this has been glued together, so essentially it is one giant lump of plastic. Think of it like welding, but instead of metal and heat, you've got plastic and a chemical reaction.
So once it's one piece, that's it, it's like that forever?
It can still be taken apart, but you have to try to take it apart. Unlike with, say, normal glues, like, say, crazy glue, outside the glue would break down over time, and eventually it would all come apart again. Or worse, you could accidentally use a glue that would destroy the Lego.
So I'm assuming that's generally pretty sturdy?
Yes.
So it'd probably take a lot of force to break one of those open?
It would take some effort.
Dumb question, is there like a life expectancy for one of these things?
It depends on, it depends on a few things. First off, it depends if the model's outdoors or if it's not. If it's outdoors, it's not going to last as long, especially in Florida sunlight. A lot of our models, depending on their color, they will either go through a bleaching process where they'll lose their color, or they will go through a warping process where the heat will cause the Lego to lose its shape. So for example, a square is no longer square, it will have blisters in it. And then of course we do also have other things. And with our area, we do have animals that come out at night, try to inhabit our mini land buildings. And of course we also have the general weather condition. Probably our most recent example was Hurricane Irma last year, which did some damage to the models.
Now, is the life expectancy any different from a smaller one compared to like one of the real bigger ones?
Not really. It'd be if you were to build the same model, or excuse me, if you were to build a small model and a big model, put them in the exact same conditions, by all rights, the only reason the big one would last longer is if it was kept in place, whereas the small one may be moved around and exposed to more things. For example, a lot of these models, you're not going to see people picking them up. Unlike, say, this, people could pick it up, accidentally drop it, and so on. If they were both glued together and then kept in a similar environment, they probably break down about the same time.
What do you do with them when you retire them?
What we do when we retire them is we will recycle them. So they'll go to a recycling plant, they'll be melted down, and they'll be used to make new Lego.
Now that plant, is that owned by Legoland or is it a third party?
I believe Lego does have a few, and then they also do some third parties as well.
Now, have you just worked with them here in Florida? Have you ever worked in any of the other Legolands?
No, the only way I've worked is here, and then also at what we call a production hub, Merlin's Magic Making. They are the people that make the really big models.
And where's that?
That is about 20 minutes from here. Sadly, it's not available to the public. It's where they...
I think I know where that is.
It's also where they produce models for the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, because we're under the same parent umbrella. And then there are other Lego places that help us. For example, the Mustang in front of the driving school, that was actually made by Lego themselves in Enfield, Connecticut.
What's your favorite part of the job that you like the most?
Probably sharing my love of Lego. Because when I was a kid, I didn't know many people that were into it. Nobody else in my family's generation. So for example, my brother, my cousins, etc. were ever into it. So now at this, I get to share my love of Lego with people.
Cool, and your name's David?
Yes.
All right, cool, thank you. That was interesting education.
Okay,
thanks.
No problem. Unless something is breaking, or if I hear a noise, it probably means some animal has gotten in there. For example, our mini land area, we do have a lot of animals that try to inhabit the area. Squirrels, raccoons, feral cats, the geckos, but they pay their rent by taking care of the bugs for us. In fact, one time I lifted the top off a building and there was a raccoon staring me right in the face.
But he wasn't happy to see you.
Actually, it wasn't too bad. I backed up and he went away. So I don't know how long he had been in there. He may have been in there, say, 5 minutes. I mean, it's not like it had been able to make a nest yet. So there were no cubs. It didn't have any rabies, anything like that.
Any issues with like alligators or turtles or anything?
Not so much in our area, but in the Cypress Gardens area, because it is connected to the lake. Sometimes you'll get one in there. That's why we have all the signs saying don't feed the alligators, because then we got to call animal control and they have to come take them away, and it's because someone decided to be foolish.
And can you just explain that again about the Santa with the eyes?
Well, what it is, for many of our life-size models, if we can't put animations in them, we'll try to give them some illusion of movement. So for our Santa Claus, for example, his eyes are designed to where if you are within 180 degrees of him, it will look like the eyes are following you.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what we'll do.
That's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the costumes, are they made too? Or are they from the actor or actress at the wax museum?
That one I'm not 100% sure on.
They're creepy.
And you were mentioning about the veins with the copper wire?
Well, what it is, what I've been told from the people that make the wax models for Madame Tussauds is sometimes they will use copper wires in the eyes to give the illusion of the veins. So it will look, to help them look as close to lifelike as possible.
Yeah, they do. Creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is interesting. All this stuff. And how long does it take to do something like that?
Well, for this one, because we had built this one unglued last year. It fell, shattered into 100 or so pieces, probably more. And then I had to reglue it, and that took me a few days. But thankfully, that was because we had designed it on the computer first, so I had a set of instructions to go off of instead of blindly doing so.
And how much does that weigh?
Well, this weighs a good, altogether, 10 pounds or so. Give or take, maybe a few pounds less.
And that's solid Legos?
Mm-hmm. Yep, no metal in it. Not for something like this. Now, for bigger models, we may have a metal skeleton in them, but that's for durability reasons. So, for example, our giant minifigure-looking people that are made out of Lego, they'll have a metal skeleton so we can have the arms out instead of them all just having the arms drooping down, which is no fun.
Do they take in mind hurricane force winds?
Yes and no. We do make them as durable as possible, but since we're also using the same materials as the other parks, which don't have our weather conditions, California, Germany, England, so on, we just prep as best we can. And then as soon as if a hurricane comes through, we just repair as quickly as we can. Yep.
Now when you're building something like that, one of the bigger ones, is that ever open to the public for the public to watch, or?
We do have our VIP tours. With those, depending on which tour package you get, you can get a tour of the model shop.
Okay, we should check into that.
Do they let you record that? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
Do they let you videotape or anything?
Yes. The only exception is sometimes we do have models in there that we have to keep from the public because it's for something that hasn't been opened yet, and in those situations we may say, hey, so you can share your pictures on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media you want to use. We just don't take pictures of this. That doesn't happen too often, but it does happen.
In that store, the big, what is it, Millennium? With them?
Oh, the Millennium Falcon?
How long did it take somebody? Did you put that together?
That one I didn't build. Normally when it comes to the Lego sets themselves that are on display, that is often the employees in the stores that are working on that.
Oh, how long did it take for that?
I honestly don't know.
You know, I couldn't do that. I don't have patience.
What about the Chewbacca statue?
Chewbacca, that one was built, I believe, in our hub in Lake Wells. I believe probably for a model like that, because I do believe they had multiple people working on it. It probably still took them about a month and a half, give or take.
And that bigger spaceship, you think it was the same thing?
That one probably took longer because the finalizer in Star Wars was built in sections and then completely assembled on site, because it would have been too difficult to move in one piece.
Now that one must be pretty heavy itself.
Oh yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, a very good teacher.
Thank you.
Any extra questions we have, somehow can we contact you?
I would say anything. You could probably contact our guest relations or our media relations people, and they'd be able to answer any questions or put you in contact with whoever you needed for that.
Okay.
Okay, you're David.
Yes.